wherever you are in the world. I am in Florida, and my guest is all the way on the other side of the world in Africa, specifically from Uganda. Before I introduce her, I would like to give you a brief description, a brief synopsis of what we do and what we will be talking about. As you know, we are talking about cultural differences, gender, and all issues related to working cross cultures, better leadership, better teams, and better business. And as the world is increasingly networked into a global village, business leaders work across myriad of borders within many cultures, and it has become a business as usual process. Learning to work with culture other than our own is constant everyday part of doing business in today's flat world. There are many cultural facets of working across borders that are obvious and not so obvious. Differences in customs, values, languages, and genders are critical issues at the individual, team, and organizational level. With that, I welcome Miss Juliet Busobozi. Did I pronounce it correctly?
No, you did not. Busobozi.
Say that again.
Busobozi.
Busobozi.
Yes.
Yes,
right.
All right. Juliet Busobozi from Kampala, the capital of Uganda. Welcome to the show, and I would love to introduce you, but I will let you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about you. Welcome to the show, Juliet.
Thank you very much, Mona. Mona has already said my name, Juliet Busobozi from Uganda. I am a family person. I am a mother of 5, 2 boys and 3 girls. I am a working woman. I am a wife to 1 husband. We've been married for 13 years. In December, we'll be celebrating our 14th anniversary. And I'm grateful to God for the journey that we have walked together. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a CEO for thriving and nonprofit organizations, and a consultant within that group. I have worked with nonprofit organizations for the last 18 years, and I've implemented quite a number of projects ranging from education, health, child sponsorship, neglected tropical diseases, agriculture and livelihoods, women empowerment, disability, social inclusion, quite a number of projects with a number of organizations, World Vision being one of them, because I know World Vision is one of the organizations that is actually known across the globe. And I've worked with a number of donors ranging from EU, DFID, USAID. I manage projects for all those donors. I am glad to be here and grateful to be seated before you to talk about my beautiful country.
Excellent. First of all, congratulations on your anniversary. And also congratulations on being a mother of 5 and doing all the wonderful work that you do. It is hard. I know how hard it is, but I know that you as a woman and as an African woman is capable
Yes.
of handling all the challenges and being successful at it. So for people that don't know Uganda, where is Uganda and what can you tell us about its culture, briefly its culture, its people, languages, the religions, and how they interact with each other, and also how they interact with foreigners?
Uganda is a country that is found in Africa. It is actually found in the east of Africa. It is bordered by Southern Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, Congo, and Rwanda. It's found in the east of Africa. Uganda is a very beautiful country that all these people out there should one day come and visit. Uganda is it's the pearl of Africa, actually. It has a number of wildlife that tourists should come and enjoy in the country. We have birds, we have chimpanzees, we have mountains, we have waterfalls, quite a number of them. We have a beautiful country that people should come and visit and enjoy the tourist sites that we have. We have historical sites, quite a number of things. And above all, Uganda is, it has a very big food basket. It's the food basket of almost East Africa. We have fresh food. We have many fruits. Actually, the people that come and visit Uganda are amazed at the fruits that they see around, at the food that they see around. It is a beautiful country with food that is actually cheap. Uganda has 80% an agricultural country. So we have a variety of foods, we have a variety of fruits, we have fish that is coming from the lake, and yes, for the food, you will not be disappointed when you come to Uganda because you'll have organic food. Then talking about the religions, Uganda, like any country, has it has Muslims, it has Christians. Actually, the Christians take the biggest part of the country. It has Christians, it has Seventh-day Adventists, it has quite a number of religions, and the cultures. Uganda has 56 tribes.
Wow.
We have 56 languages. We have, and every tribe has its language, every tribe has its culture. And if there's anyone that is doing studies in culture and languages, Uganda is the country to visit, because we have different ways of dressing up, we have different ways we prepare our food, we have different cultural dances, we have different ways of welcoming visitors and greeting visitors. Generally, Uganda is a rich country. If you're talking about culture, you will just enjoy. One of the biggest cultures, tribes in Uganda is Baganda, and it is found in the center, Baganda, yes, and it is found in the central. It is one of the biggest tribes, and we have other tribes like Dabasoga. Those ones are found in the east, and then in the west we have Dabanyoro, and then Banyankole, we have Bachiga. In the northern Uganda we have the Choli. You know, we have quite a number of tribes, all dressing differently, all preparing food differently, all telling different stories about their culture, different culture practices, different ways of doing things. But all in all, we all gather as Ugandans, and we all respect each other's cultures, and we all enjoy each other's cultures, and we all blend each other's cultures, and everyone is comfortable with their culture.
That is awesome to hear. So you're saying everyone is living in harmony. There is no tension like in any other African countries. There is peace among people, whether they're from your tribe or a different tribe, but you all are living under one umbrella, which is Uganda. Is there like a main language, or English is the main language? Is there a Ugandan language beside all these 56 dialects?
One of the biggest tribes that covers the country is Baganda, just like I said.
Baganda, okay.
Yes, and so the language that you will hear being spoken in different pockets of the country will be Luganda.
Luganda.
Yes, it's a language that is spoken in different pockets of the country, and then that is followed by English, because English now is a second language to most of us. And then the different tribes, for example, if someone is from Busoga, English will be a second language to them, but a Musoga will know how to speak Luganda, because they all belong to the Bantu tribe.
Bantu tribe. Is that, because recently I had a wonderful interview with a woman from Kenya, Is that, is it very close to the Kenyan? Because I remember hearing the same concept of the constitution of the country, different tribes, English is second language, and so on. Is it all the Eastern African countries? Can you tell, or can you tell us whether they're all fall into one geographical lump sum area where we can identify, largely identify one really big culture, or is it different in each country?
To answer that, I would say that it is different in each country, though in one way or the other, some of the tribes might be related because they are at the border. For example, in Kenya, up in the northern Kenya, there is a tribe that is called the Turkana. And up in Uganda, northeast Uganda, there is a tribe that is called the Karamojong. So because those two tribes are next to each other, somehow the words that they speak are almost similar, but basically all the countries have their different tribes, though in one way or the other, as they communicate, you might find that one word or two words are related to the words of the tribe in another country, but the languages are almost different, apart from some few things. Because like you know, I think Uganda, like any other African country, is made up of people that migrated from different places, and they met each other in different places. So in one way or the other, some of the cultures were borrowed from another country before the boundaries came in existence. That when you look at the history, so you will find that some of the words, some of the cultures, some of the things that we do are similar to each other, just because we had people that migrated and they came into a particular country and they formed a particular tribe.
I see. I see. So if we want, without diving into culture, deep into culture, I am assuming, and correct me if I am wrong, that the society is very hospitable, very down to earth, very a tribal type of society where you can just show up, come in, and you will be greeted, fed, and welcomed. And there's no, the time is fluid, and also there's not much restriction, but family is extremely important in respecting elderly. Is that accurate?
I think you are right on that. It's one of those countries that is highly hospitable, and most of the people that have visited Uganda, some that have come as tourists, have decided to come and stay in Uganda because the climate is actually beautiful. We have 2 seasons in a year. So that means we can plant in the first season and plant in the next season. So that partly explains why we have a lot of food in Uganda. And Uganda is a place where people have given testimony that it is a place to be. People are very, very welcoming. It is a place that you will not feel out of place. And actually, to answer more of that, Uganda is one of the countries that has 1.2 million refugees.
Wow.
You know? We host 1.2 million refugees in our country.
From what side? From the other African nations?
From the other African nations, basically Somalia. We have some coming in from Southern Sudan. Then we have some coming in from Congo. The places that are war have war. So Uganda is one of the countries that has the biggest number of refugees. It has actually accepted people to come and be part of Uganda, which is partly a problem because it strains the existing infrastructure, and the limited resources are being strained. But that is how hospitable Uganda is as a country.
Okay. As far as the other minorities in Uganda, such as Europeans, American, Australians, who would you say Uganda hosts the most as far as the other Western countries? Or
I cannot give a definite answer to that because at least for that, I am not so sure of the statistics. But at least what I will respond and say is we have quite a number of Americans because we have the American embassy that employs Americans, and they're actually in and out of the country implementing quite a number of projects under USAID and Mercy Corps. They are doing quite a number of work in Uganda, and we have more of them. Then we have people from UK that are also in Uganda. We have people that are implementing projects of European Union. They are also in Uganda. It's a mixture of many people from different parts of the country that are in Uganda.
Okay. So we have an idea. Now let's dive into the real stuff here and what we are going to talk about. Different cultural environments, cultural beliefs, and attitudes significantly impact gender expectation and govern much of the interaction and interpretation that occur between men and women. Ultimately, gender role expectations can have some significant effect on business interaction, such as communication and negotiation styles. The gendered glass ceiling appears to persist in both developed and developing societies like Uganda. What can you tell us about the gender and the gender gap in business, communication, overall life in Uganda?
Probably we will start with the culture. Uganda has quite a number of cultures, and obviously for the cultures, they have different cultural beliefs. I'll give an example for education.
Yeah.
For a long time, though this is changing, but for a long time, the boys were preferred to go to school than the girls because they thought probably girls will be married off very fast. That was the conception. That was what people thought about girls. So in this way, the boys got an opportunity to go to school. And you know what education comes with? When someone goes to school, they're more exposed. Obviously, they'll get a better paying job. Obviously, they'll make decisions on behalf of the rest that haven't gone to school. Obviously, they will acquire assets and resources. Obviously, they will communicate better in case an opportunity comes. Their communication is better. So in that way, girls were left behind, or the ladies were left behind in that way, because the boys had a bigger opportunity to attend school than the girls. And then also, when the opportunity came for both gender to attend school, the girls would stay at home first to do the household chores, cleaning the house, fetching water from the well, cooking for their sisters, washing dishes in the morning. And so they would arrive to school late when the boy child has already arrived. And obviously that had an impact on their performance, because if someone arrives at school at 7 and you have someone else coming to school at around 8:30, the performance that they will have is almost not the same. So that affected the girl child. Then secondly, I'll talk about marriage, early marriages. Whenever there was poverty in the home, the girl would be easily given to in for marriage even before they were of age. Why? Because of the bride price. Bride price has always been an African thing. You know, every time a girl child comes to life, in that home, they look at how much bride price they will get from that girl child. And that goes to most of the pastoral communities in Uganda. For example, when it comes to Uganda, obviously the bride price is not as big as when you get a girl from northern Uganda or Karamoja, northwest Uganda. When you get a girl or you're marrying a lady from northwest Uganda, obviously the family will tell you to pay over 20 to 30 heads of cattle. For a girl from Buganda, you just need to bring a small gift that the family requests for. So when chances are high and the poverty levels are high in the home, obviously a child that is coming from the northeast of Uganda will be prey to early marriage. Why? Because the family or the clan heads are looking at the kind of bride price that they will get when such a child or a girl is given in for early marriage, unlike the boy child. The other thing that I can talk about are the cultural practices. We've always had female genital mutilation. I don't know whether you've heard about that.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Since you mentioned it, tell us a little bit about that. Where are you on that situation?
Female genital mutilation, a bill was presented to Parliament, and it is being tabled so that the device can be stopped. But a number of non-profit organizations and female activists and people from, actually the place is called Kapchora, the country, the place where that is practiced called Kapchora. It's in the east of Uganda. The female activists and the people that have been educated, that went through that practice, and they feel that young children, girl child shouldn't go through that, have come up and they're talking about it in the community. They're talking about it on social media. They're talking about it on radio, on television, as a device that should be stopped because it's still being practiced by the old women in the communities. So on that level, it has actually calmed down. And because of the awareness that comes with it, because they thought that if it is done, then a girl would actually get married first. They believed that someone that had done that would get married, and someone that hasn't done that, according to that tribe, the men would not prefer to marry them. So that was what was the wrong perception behind the female genital mutilation. And actually, most of the girls were running out of their homes because when the time came, they did not want to be part or prey to that. And many non-government organizations have taken it up and they're talking about it, and awareness has been created about it, and bylaws have been created. And yes, it is coming down in the communities where it was practiced because of the awareness levels that have gone on. The other thing that I can talk about is reproductive health rights. When we look behind, because we have said that most of the women were not educated. Obviously, if a child is getting married at a very early age, and you're getting married to a man that already has 2 or 3 wives, because this is the man that can afford to pay for the 30 or 20 heads of cattle that are requested for by your family, you're going to another home where you're finding 2 wives that were in the home before you. So in this way, obviously in that kind of home, there is strife. The resources will not be enough in that home. So this young girl that is going in that particular home is going to find quite a number of resistance from the ladies that go to that home first before her. And then she will also not have reproductive health rights, you know. She will not have reproductive health rights. You will find this lady giving birth to children every year. And at the end of the day, you find a young girl that has over 8 children, and they don't have say over their reproductive rights. If the man tells you they want you to have 10 children, because bride price was paid for you, actually a bill is being tabled in Parliament. I don't know whether it has gone through, to stop bride price, because this is the biggest thing. Even when you get to that home and you're being beaten and you're being battered, you can't go back home because your family then can't pay back the 20 heads of cattle that they paid for your marriage. So you find that this woman is suffering in this kind of home because they received bride price, and the family has probably sold the cows, they have used the cows, they can't pay back the bride price, and so she cannot go back home because the family can't pay back the bride price. So there's that bill that was stopping bride price in our country, because then men felt that because they paid, the women were property. That was the perception. So they could do with you whatever they wanted because they have paid for you. You're like property to them. So those are some of the cultures that that have always existed in the country.
I am not just shocked, but I am sad, really sad to hear this, because a lot of us here in the West or in other part of the world have no idea what women go through in other parts of the world and how challenging it is for them to get an education, to get ahead, to be independent, to be financially independent, emotionally and mentally. And by you telling me this, I am assuming that there's a lot of mental issues and torture that these women are living through, but yet they cannot say much because of the tradition, the culture, and the practices that have been there for thousands of years. Now, what is the age of marriage for girls in Uganda? Like, every tribe is different, or do they have like an age, certain age for the entire country?
The 1995 Gender Constitution looks at someone that is 18 years as an adult. So when you attain the age of 18, even it's a standard according to our constitution, then you are ready for marriage.
Okay. And for the bride price that you say, and I'm thinking it's just like similar to a dowry where you give to the family of the wife, but the purpose is not really meant to turn the bride into property, but to honor that bride. And whatever you give her is her property, is her belongings. If you decide to leave one day, you're not going to ask for all of that back. I am quite shocked that people or women stay in a relationship just because, and they suffer the abuse and everything, and they cannot say much just because if they try to leave, they have to pay back that bride price. This is a quite worrisome, and I feel for these women. I feel for, so what is it being done beside what you've mentioned? Any other intervention, like international intervention, UN, other NGOs? What are they doing to save and help these women?
I think I have partly answered that. There is a bill that was tabled in the Parliament of Uganda, stopping bride price. Yes, because that is what the perception. And then also NGOs and UN agencies are creating awareness on this device so that it is actually stopped. Because when the law is passed, as it was, then the implementation of the law then has to take place, and then the non-profit organizations or the UN agencies then have something to back them up as they fight for these women.
Yes, but the reason I'm asking you again is because there is a lot of times here's a theory, here are the laws, but really not everybody is following or implementing those laws. So even if the law is there and it's telling you this is what you should do, it doesn't mean that is implemented, respected, and followed. So that's the thing that we find in a lot of these countries, that there is a law, there is a theory, and the practice is different. So that's why I asked, is it really happening or just in paper and they talk about it on radio and television, but is there really sincere a feeling from the entire nation that this has to stop, or they're working together to make it stop?
Like I said, the Speaker of the Parliament is a lady, and we have quite a number of women activists groups, women activists that are actually implementing the law. They are pushing for the policies to be implemented in the different communities where they work. But also because of the awareness that has now been going on, the ladies can then come and report cases of battering to police so that are picked up. For example, we have something called FIDA. It helps women. And so women have different groups to go to where they can report such things happening. They have the police to go to, and then people can then follow up and help them on how they can solve the situations. But obviously, the ones that are exposed are the ones that know more of the things. The ones that are in the communities, some of them still don't know, and so they're still suffering. But a lot is being done to ensure that this is resolved.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to hear that. And your work, does it encompass the entire Uganda and other African nation, or just in Kampala?
My work encompasses the entire Uganda, the entire Africa, and then because I'm a consultant for non-profit organizations, depending on what they do, I offer consultancy even across the world in case there is a non-profit organization that is, for example, challenged with sustainability, challenged with programming, challenged with doing due diligence, challenged with proposal and grant writing. My services are all over the country. The support that I give and the consultancy that I give is across the world, the globe.
Okay. Have you traveled to other African nations?
I have traveled to Ghana, I have traveled to Kenya, I have traveled to Tanzania. I think those are the African nations that I've traveled to.
Okay, so when you travel to these countries as a leader of NGOs and working with women bettering their situation, has your role as a woman leader, has it been challenged outside of Uganda? Like, do you have issues when you go to these other countries?
When I visit other countries, I am going for other forms of work. But to answer your question, the women empowerment projects that I have supported, I've actually been in Uganda as my country, not in the other countries across the world in Africa. What I've done is within my country, coming up with interventions that address issues of women, helping them build their capacity. For example, we have a non-profit organization that I'm a co-founder to. It's called Empower Nations Initiative. And in this non-profit organization, I'll look at the COVID situation. This situation has left quite a number of women in a difficult situation in that most of them are single mothers. And because they're single mothers, some of them are working in markets, some of them are tendering their land for agriculture. And obviously for agriculture, you are not sure of the output from the garden. But also the COVID situation, the ones that work in the market, remember there's this whole process of the lockdown, where the countries were locked down, and women actually lost their jobs, their petty jobs that they were doing, and then even the agriculture hasn't been coming on well. So women are struggling with issues of finance. So this non-profit organization is coming up to help women. We are training them on different life skills, agriculture. We are helping them open up more land for agriculture so that the harvest can be a lot more or bumper harvest so that they can sell and then get the balance to look after their children, because most of them are single mothers. Then we also look at this lockdown period where some number of girls have actually become pregnant. Why? Because the situation was so bad, and they actually became pregnant. So when school opens, part of the school has opened for the candidate classes, but when school opens, obviously the girls that became pregnant will not be comfortable to go back and sit in their mainstream classes with their counterparts. So we are looking at a project where we will do vocational skills and training for these girls so that they can easily do a course of training of 6 months, and then they can easily get into employment. They employ themselves. We give them startup tools so that they employ themselves, and then they can start businesses of their own, because they will not be comfortable sitting in the mainstream classes with their counterparts that don't have children. And even then, they don't have people that will be employed to look after their children. Their mothers are already so busy with their siblings, and this one is a child has given birth to another child, and the responsibility goes to the mother. Obviously, the mother will tell us, sit home, I don't have money to take you back to school because you're already given birth, and your siblings also need to go back to school. So that project that we have started embarking on, obviously it is a big one that needs more resources, and we are looking for resources here and there, but it actually calls for more resources to address the need on the ground so that women can be empowered, so that girls can be empowered, so that they can have an education at whatever cost, so that they can also be empowered to earn an income, because at the end of the day, we are competing in a male gender related society, and we have to compete. Where the men go to buy the basic needs is where the women will go to buy the basic needs. And you know, even women would want to have access and buy capital assets like land. So with this kind of training, with this kind of support, we believe we will be empowering quite a number of women and girls to achieve this kind of life.
Okay. Okay, you're giving great answers and elaborate answers to all the questions. Now, before I ask you to share with people, where can they contact you to help with your effort to help these girls? You mentioned something that is intriguing, and you mentioned single mothers, and girls are having children. Can you just tell me why are they single mothers? Were they married and the husband left? There's a divorce, or it was a relationship outside of marriage? What is going on there? I would love to know, why is there a large number of single mothers?
To answer your question, some of them are people that did not actually get married. They got into a relationship,
Okay.
and then the man was around for some time, and the 4 or 5 or 6 years that they lived with this man, she thought this man would then end up taking them as their full wife or marrying them, or marrying them. And yet after some time, the men leave these women, and by the time they leave, the woman has 3 or 4 children, and she actually has to take care of them. Then we also have men that already have their wives, and yet they are in relationships out there. So at the end of the day, they return to their real wives, and the person that they were in a relationship with, if you gave birth to a child, then the child becomes your responsibility, because even where the man is in his family, he already has enough responsibility. Then we also have women that have given birth to children with disabilities. You know, there are men that will tell you, like, culture then comes in our family, we don't give birth to children that are lame. So they have been married for years, and then they have 4 children. Then the 5th child comes, and the child is lame. So the man runs out of the home. You know, then we also have situations where people have given birth to 3 children. Then and the next pregnancy, the woman gives birth to 3 or 4 children. And
Wow.
then the man counts and he's 7 children at a go, because the first were 3, then the next pregnancy they get 4 children. So some of those women are left in the hospital. So it's good Samaritans that they come up to bring the basic needs, to pay the bills, so the woman returns home. And when she returns home, she then has the first 3, but she also has the babies to look after. And then you will have girls that actually drop out of school because they engaged in early relationships, and then they give birth to children, or they give birth to children with the boys of their ages that are not yet ready to be fathers. So the boys are usually taken back to school, and the girl has to stay at home and raise the child on her own.
Wow. This is too much for women. I mean, is the government getting involved in this, to have some laws to help women alleviate from their stress, pressure, and all of this that they have to deal with? I mean, I understand that the educational factor comes in when it comes to women just having babies and falling victim into a relationship that they shouldn't be in those relationships. But is the government doing anything to help, or any other organization beside yours, or any international um, organizations that have the capabilities, the logistics, the finances, all that to help these women?
I think non-profit organizations are doing quite a lot of work. There are organizations that are doing vocational skills training for this category of people.
Yeah.
Yes, there are organizations. Then I think also government has come up with vocational skills training for this category of people, and they're giving some of them loans. They organize them in groups called circles. A circle is a group that has over 10 people, and then they give them a startup, and then they start business, and then they progress with time. Government is doing something, non-profit organizations are also doing something, but obviously the need is big. The need is big, and the support that is required is actually big. So government is doing their effort. Non-profit organizations are also putting in, doing the skills training, the counseling, and all that is involved. But the need is actually great, and yeah.
So while we are at this topic, tell us, share with others that will be listening to us, that will be watching us. Tell them, where can they help you, and how can they help you, and with what means can they help you?
Thank you very much, Mona. Just like I have spoken in my explanation, I think the help can come in different ways. It could be someone coming up to say, I will support a girl, to support a girl for vocational skills education. We will need 200,000. You support them, and then they get their startup tool. Someone can come up and say, I will give you knowledge. We welcome knowledge on how we can help these children. Someone might come up and say, I will buy clothes for a family that is in need. So depending on the support that someone can come up with, all the support is needed, because we are also non-government organizations complement government work. When the government puts in their resources, and we know that the government resources obviously can't be enough. So when non-government organizations come in, they complement the government work, and we add on to what government is actually doing. So the support can come, or someone can say, I can give $10 every month towards this cause. That actually makes an impact. Depending on whatever support someone can give, someone will say, I will $100 every quarter, and that can make changes. I think every support is welcome. Even $1 put together with many people can actually make a difference.
So give us your email address, give us your phone number, give us your website for people to contact you, please.
We are coming up with the website, but my phone number, someone is writing it down.
Somebody's gonna write it down.
Phone number is +256 772 630019. That +256 is the country code for Uganda.
256?
Then 772 is the country code. +256 is for the country. Then the mobile is 772 630019.
What is your email?
My email is letter J for Juliet, Sentongo. Sentongo is SENTONGO, J Sentongo 79 at yahoo.com. So the email is jtongo79 at yahoo.com.
Okay, please, if you hear this, if you watch this, $10 a month is nothing for us. $10 a month will help a life, will help a girl get an education and find her way out of poverty and out of abuse and out of everything that they have to deal with. And as you heard, you've heard Juliet, there's a lot that they're dealing with. $100 quarter can save lives, can help lives, and can make a difference in not only in Africa, but in the world as well. The more people we have, the more educated they are, the better off they are. And if we can contribute to this cause, please, by all means, do not hesitate to help. So let's go to the next segment, and that is women in the workplace. Can you tell us a little bit more? How are they treated? I mean, you told me that it's male-dominated society. I know you are in the NGO business, and you may have a different work, type of work that other women don't do, or you don't deal with the same daily task as other women do, but you are out on the field, you're working with different other organization, be it male dominated or female dominated. I'm not sure how it goes in Uganda, but I would love to hear from you. How are women treated in the workplace? Do they have opportunities to grow? Are they being helped and supported to grow? Are they being included in the decision making?
I answer that question, Mona. We will get back from where we said the education bit. I think for every woman to get a job, education is actually very key. So the ones that get an opportunity to get an education, then we have universities that graduate over 1,000 people at the end, or twice a year, so that's 2,000. And we have quite a number of universities in Uganda. So you might find that the job market has quite a number of people graduating every year. So as we talk about women in the workplace, the jobs that are available are now being competed for by both the men and the women. So it takes your level of competency. You have to be good at what you do. You have to be good at what you do. Because when you present yourself in an interview, and a man is presenting themselves in an interview, both of you are competing for this job at the same level. Obviously, you'll find organizations that are saying probably we have very many men in our organization, so we need more of female. And for such, when you get an opportunity to go for such a job and you're good at what you do, chances are high that you will be given an opportunity other than the man. But when you get before a panel and you're applying for a job, it is a leveled ground. You have to be good at what you do. And the second way I can answer your question is actually, when you look at our economy and the country, most of the big jobs, the managerial jobs, are taken up by the men. But I also commend social media, because social media has actually done a very good job. Why I'm saying this is social media has presented the women that have got it and gone up there. So they present them actually at the end of every year. They'll tell you these are the women that have made it. So when people look at these women that have made it, they get the energy, they're energized, they get the potential and say, if so and so could make it, and they are a woman, then I can also make it. Currently, I have 11 presidential candidates, and one of the candidates is a woman. Wow. You know, and she has, yes, and she has a lot of energy, and she's telling the world, I am taking this seat. So there are those strong women that will fight for what they want in life. So when they're given an opportunity and social media takes them forth, and then the policies of the land take them forth, then yes, they will get to where they want to be. But most of the managerial positions that earn a lot of money are actually taken over by men. But I would say that there are women that are fighters, there are women that are hustlers, there are women that don't settle for anything less, that have stood up and said, no, look here, I can, if a man can do that, then I can do that. Then the other thing that I can say, our constitution, the 1995 constitution, also gives an opportunity for women. Our article 78B gives an opportunity for special interest groups, and the special interest groups include women. So in that way, gone are the days when politics was actually dominated by men. Now it is a law that every district in the country should at least be represented by a woman. So whether they like it or not, that's a law. So a woman represents a district, at least there should be a woman representative. Then for the other positions, then the women can compete. But to talk about the competition, I think getting into positions of authority, given our politics in the African countries, is quite expensive, because it is the men that get an opportunity to be into those managerial positions, so they have the finances. So when it comes to politics, obviously they're better placed to get the resources that they need to carry on the campaigns. But the women are also fighting, but it is not a leveled ground for that. After getting the district member of parliament as a woman, for the other positions in authority, you know, the women have to fight to get there. But we also have another law. We have a Local Government Act, and Section 10 actually talks a third of the committee should be, a third of the members on every committee, local council committee, should be women. So in that way, women get into those positions of authority. For example, if the chairperson is a man, the vice should be a woman. So that presents an opportunity for women to get into positions of authority. And I think women are hustlers, women are fighters, and the ones that have what it takes to get there, they get there.
Got it. This is promising, and I'm glad that you're saying this, because at one point I was getting depressed with all the news that you're giving me and sharing with me. So at least there is some progress, and women are getting there. But not as much as we would like them to, or when they get there, they really have to be fighters. They have to be warriors. And what I mean, I hear you, and definitely I can imagine what it's like. Although I'm not in Uganda, I've never been to Uganda, but I have a feeling that is tense. The competition is really fierce, and women are doing everything they can, and they go beyond and above to make sure that they get a seat. Now, I am interested, we haven't answered that question yet. When they get to that seat, how are they treated? How, I mean, are they supported? Are they encouraged? Are they being given the chances to go up higher in the ladder? Or once they get to that position, they really not moving up as quick as they should, because it's still a male-dominated society?
To answer your question, they get to that position, I think they have to do what it takes. They have to perform, they have to perform to keep the position. They have to perform to stay in that position. Something that I forgot to mention to you, I think because of the laws that the country has presented, 34.6%, according to the statistics of the country in 2019, showed that 34.8% of the seats in parliament were occupied by women. Obviously, we are not yet there, but at least that's a leap ahead. We are doing something, the government is doing something to ensure that women are presented at the table. Then there is this International Women's Day that actually happens every year. The government of Uganda actually supports or commemorates that day, and the is there, and people get to that day and they advocate for different things. The UN agencies come and they advocate for women issues that they think the government should attend to, and then other non-profit organizations also get there and they advocate for different issues that the government should attend to. So the fact that the government accepts that day to be commemorated in the country and the head of state is there to listen to the women issues, I also think that that is a plus, because it shows that he has women at the heart of the work that is going on in the country. But to answer your question, I think when women get into those positions of authority, you actually have to deliver so that you get your next promotion. You know, you can't get in the position and then you drop. You have to excel at what you do. If you are to keep that position, you have to deliver. You have, if it's a position of parliament, if it's a member of parliament, you have to get there and deliver. You have to get there and deliver, do the things that you are supposed to do in your constituency so that the people will vote you back into office in the next round. Because if you get there and you're seated in parliament and you're not deliberating on the things that you should be deliberating on, and you're not representing your constituency, obviously chances are high that you will not get back into that position of authority. But if you get there and you are deliberating and you're pushing for issues, and women issues are being addressed, and you're tabling bills that affect women and you're pushing, obviously people will get you back into office in the next election. But I should say the positions for member of parliament are quite competitive. They're quite competitive. So when you get into that seat, you should ensure that you are delivering on your mandate, because the next time you come, you could be standing at that position and there are other 5 women that are vying for that position. And Uganda has a multi-party system. So in this multi-party team, we have over, I think we have over 5 multi-parties. So that means one position of woman member of parliament has over 5 or 6 women vying for the same seat. So it's a very competitive position. And you know, depending on the party where you come from, you should deliver You should deliver and ensure, obviously, the strongest parties, they finance their members to get back into the seat, because the more the number in parliament, the more that party will pass its policies in parliament. So when it comes to the career ladder in offices, obviously when you get to that seat, you have to be good at what you do. If you are going to, obviously it's a male dominated society and men would want to put you down, but if you're good at what you do, no one will pull you down. You will beat them at their game. So it's about delivering, it's about performance. But yes, I would believe the men would want to pull you down and look down on you. But if you are good at what you do, they have no option other than to follow suit. And yeah.
Yeah, well, as you are saying it, I can imagine that women have to perform a lot more than men just to get to the same results. That's what it feels like. They have to be killing themselves and performing at all levels a lot higher than men for them to be noticed, for them to be voted the next time, for them to keep their job. And it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. I know African women are fighters. I know that for sure. And they do excel when you give them a job. They do excel at it. And I've met a lot of African women. And I mean, you and I know when we say Africa, Africa is a large continent. Africa has so many cultures, has so many belief systems, has so many different landscapes, and all of this. When we say Africa, and now we are going to talk about it generally, women deliver. Women are smart. Women are really, really strong and talented if they are given the chance. And fortunately, we are still battling with, like you mentioned, the mutation issue. And that's a quite drastic for a lot of women. So I really thank you for sharing all this information with me. One last question, and that was something that I really, really wanted to know. I know you said you traveled outside of Uganda, and I am sure you know other women that work outside of Uganda. They're from Uganda and they may be leaders, they may be representing their companies and all that stuff. How are they treated outside of Uganda? Do you have any idea? And I'll give you an example before you think about that. For example, there was a woman that I was talking to, and she was Malaysian, from Malaysia, and she had her PhD. She was a chemical engineer. She was leader in her organization, multinational organization. And when she worked with Americans, she had a lot of problems because she was Muslim and she was wearing the headscarf, and it was quite challenging, and it took her a lot of time to find her place within this multinational organizational leadership role that she assumed. So this is just to help you answer the question that I asked before. How are women treated outside of Uganda when they are in a leadership position, working in a multinational organization? How are they treated? What challenges are they facing? Let's say you are, or a friend of yours went to England as an example, or to Sweden as an example, or any other countries where they have different beliefs and they have different outlook on things. How are they treated? Do they face challenges?
To answer your question, one that is most common is when a woman of my skin goes to work out, I think the country where they are received thinks, I think Africa has always, since time memorial, Africa has always been looked at as a poor nation, a country that has, because you are poor, you don't know a lot. So even when you get a job and you are ready to perform and you have all that it takes to perform, people usually look at them as people that don't know, you know. The places where they go to, they are not accepted. They are always looked at as inferior, you know. They're always put down. Why? Because there is this culture difference of white skin means more knowledge, more exposure, and all that. But yet, we have seen women that move in Africa. People are competent, people know what they do, people have gone to school, and they can articulate issues just like any other person. So that stereotype and the feeling and the concept that people have over Africans will always follow us wherever we go. I'll give you an example. Even as I do consultancies, people think, why do you make it global? Why don't you keep within your country, you know? But the expertise that I have is actually can be utilized by anyone across the country. For example, if we are looking at issues of sustainability, and I'm telling you, look here, for your nonprofit to be sustainable, you have to have a plan, a fundraising plan, so that you have inflow of income on a daily basis. For your nonprofit to be sustainable, you have to include it in the existing structures, so that you cut off some costs for certain things. For your nonprofit to be sustainable, it should be rooted in the community. So those are normal things. But people think you should be operating within a particular area, and there is a level that you shouldn't come to, just like the stereotypes that we have seen for women in Africa and Uganda as a country. So there's that stereotype that will always follow people. But one thing I want to tell about is we have gone to school, we have the brains, we have what it takes, we can work anywhere, and we can deliver. And you know, social media has actually made it good for us. You can sit on social media and train a team on Zoom in a different country. And you know, and you're an African, and you're passing on knowledge, and you're passing on skills, and people are appreciating, you know. So that is what I have had most of the women leaders suffer, even when they go and work out. Yes.
Wow. I am listening. I am listening, and I am digesting. And I am feeling what you're saying with the stigma and with the stereotype. And if you are outside of Africa, or other people looking at you, and because of the skin color, there is so much going on with that. And I guess it's time that these things change. I know Africans, they have a lot to offer. Rich continent, extremely smart people. We said that already. And what I am seeing right here is not only you have to fight inside Africa as a woman, you really have to fight hard for what you want. And it can get so intense, and it can get so complicated. You also have to fight your way where you want to get your way out there with non-Africans as well. So there is a struggle in Africa, and there's also struggle outside of Africa. But every woman that I know, whether here in the US or in the United Kingdom or in Australia, from African country, they are doing tremendously well. Yes, the race, the color, all that stuff is still there, but obviously and eventually people will understand. And the people, will understand through what? Through exactly what we're doing, educating and sharing information. And I really, really do appreciate what you have shared with us so far. It gave me a clear idea of what we're talking about. And I am going to obviously um, expose these practices, share what you have shared with us with other people. Hopefully they can intervene, hopefully they can help and save lives. Not only that, just provide opportunities for people to show their skills, for people to shine, for people to show who they are really. So I appreciate that. I guess our time is almost over. Any last thoughts? What should we know if we are visiting Uganda? Tell people, what should we know and what should we do if we are visiting your beautiful country of Uganda? Hopefully I will have a chance to do that. Is it safe? There are no wars, there's nothing going on right now?
Uh, Actually, there are no wars. It's just a little bit here and there because we have our next campaign, the campaigns that are going on for presidential elections. But it is okay. The country is at peace. But obviously, I know, given the situation, you're not planning to come soon. So I think we elections in January. It's a beautiful country. We don't have wars. It is a beautiful country, and I think COVID has hit, but it hasn't hit us very much because our lovely president locked the country in time, so we did not get fluctuating figures of COVID patients. Uganda is a beautiful country, that I will say from the bottom of my heart. If you're interested in looking at natural beautiful waterfalls, visit Uganda. If you're interested in eating fresh fruits and food, visit Uganda. We have a variety of fruits, we have a variety of food. Visit Uganda. If you're interested in tracking mountain gorillas, visit Uganda. If you're interested in bird watching, visit Uganda. If you're interested in beautiful water sources, the lakes, visit Uganda. If you're interested in mountain climbing, visit Uganda. If you're interested in seeing the equator, visit Uganda, because we have the equator. It actually passes through Uganda. So if you're looking for a tourism destiny, Uganda is the place to be. And finally, for every lady out there, I will finish this on a beautiful note. For every lady out there, I believe we have the energy, we have what it takes. Let us not look down on ourselves. There are people that have been there, there are people that have gone through, there are people that have hustled and achieved. If we don't give, we will then achieve our dreams. I think I have my dreams, and I know every woman out there has their dreams. I don't care whether you come from Uganda, I don't care whether you come from Africa, I don't care whether you come from US, I don't care whether you come from UK. I know you have what it takes to achieve your dream. Step out of your comfort zone, do what you're supposed to do, achieve your dream, and live your life. That is my final message. Every beautiful lady. Yeah.
What a beautiful ending to this session. I really thank you so much. You have shared a wealth of information that now I know what Uganda is all about, the struggles, what women are facing. Thank you so much for sharing. We will definitely connect again to talk about another topic. And you've been wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I am going to send you a copy of this. And also, we didn't get to what we know briefly before you go. What do we know if you want to do business in Africa? Is it an open place for investments, for business people, and the government are welcoming, taxes are good, tariffs and all that?
Before I answer the big one, I also want business, my consultancy business. There are people there that have started non-profit organizations and are struggling and they need support. Just send me a call on the email and the phone number that I sent. If you started a non-profit organization, if there are donors out there that want to fund non-profit organizations, reach out to me because I want to write concept papers and build the capacity of non-profit organizations so that they have the right documentation in place and they are ready for funding. Some of the non-profit organizations need to be sub-granted first, and then we follow up and monitor the way they're utilizing the resources and the accountability before you can fund them and give them more monies. So if there are organizations that are doing that, reach out to me and give me money. I'm doing capacity building for non-profit organizations to get the right documentation. Now the big one that you have asked, yes. Yes, the policies are good. There is a particular amount of money that you should have. Investors that come to Uganda are given a tax waiver for a particular time. I am not sure of the details now, but they're given a tax waiver for a particular amount of time. So people out there, you can come and partner with me so that we invest into this country. Actually, you can come invest in agriculture. Empower Nations Initiative has an agriculture part. You can invest in agriculture and then you can export into your country. So you can come and invest in this country. Can be your contact.
Excellent, excellent, Juliet. Excellent.
Yes, but the investment opportunities are there. Depending on what you can do, the taxes are good. You get a tax waiver, so that shouldn't be a problem. Uganda is a country to invest. Actually, the Minister of Tourism should pay me because I am doing his job right.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it has been wonderful spending time with you, Juliet, and thank you so much for the information. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, really, and I do wish you and your organization, your people, I really wish them well, and I hope things change for the better, and it seems like you are participating in that change, and that's what we all are looking forward to do or to doing, and working towards a better future that can help more people prosper, regardless of color, race, gender. So with that, I wish you a very, very happy weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, bye, Julia.